texture, and if I had known how to get this crazing cracking look somewhat, although it is a bit different than what crazing and cracking. I mean, there's similarities, but because this ended up doing what it did in all the right places, it literally looks, at least to me, intentional. It literally looks intentional, and it completely makes the piece cohesive because it's in mostly every area. And there's different sizes and shapes of it. So it's almost, like I said, fractured, which is why I called it that, or shattered cells. I mean, that's a great way in my head to explain the look of this. So I had many questions, and thank you guys so much. I appreciate it so much for you guys leaving the comments, and continue to do so. Because it's so mind-baffling, because of course crazing and cracking was the first thing that came into my head, but being an experienced artist, I knew that couldn't have been it, because that stuff usually happens during mid to late, meaning once your paint is dry. And I do have a couple paintings that I did early on in fluid art before YouTube that do have crazing and cracking. Okay, so as you can see right here, this is 100% cracking. And this actually didn't happen for a little while after it dried, because it actually started to look, it looked like the painting was fine. And it only did it in certain spots. And I held on to this because of this, to remind me on frustrating days. And it has helped over the time. And especially now that doesn't happen. So this is what the crazing looked like, and the cracking over here, more so cracking, but you know, they're exchangeable. And then I have this one here. And again, I'm adjusting my light, guys. I have to do that because I have a window in front of my work area. So sometimes you guys don't see how bright the painting is, but it's to prevent the reflection. But let me focus. But here, again, you can see the cracking and some crazing. But as you can see, those are completely different from this. And I call it an effect because essentially it still is. Whether it ended up being a great one or not, it really is an effect. And I love how it feels. And I do think I am going to do something special with this, because I just think it's super cool. And it's on tile. And I'm thinking that I might put this one away when and use it when I get into resin. But start the process for you guys. So definitely comment. I want to know what you guys think of the dried results. A lot of people felt the same way I did, that it just worked, and they loved the result as well. It kind of almost looks like scales. So there's so many ways that you can upscale this, and you know, I don't even want to say fix or repair, because in all honesty, if I did nothing to it and I just varnished this, and if I did varnish, it would be with a spray, just because of the texture and how you can feel that. You know, it would be extremely difficult to brush it on or pour it and tilt it off without making a mess with all the crevices. But I really love it. No cracking in here, just this crazy web spider, whatever you want to call it, paint pulling apart. Now, before we go, I did tell you guys, in answering some of your guys' comments, that I kind of had an idea what happened. And you guys can let me know if you agree or not, because I may not be right. But this is a tile, and it was clean. There was no silicone on it before. This was actually from an early marble pour. And what I think happened is crazing and cracking happens for many reasons, but one of them is temperature. And I live in Canada, and we have extremely, especially the last few years, erratic climate, okay? So to me, fall came earlier this year. It got really cold really quickly. And because I do commissions and other pours, I have a side room off of my art studio where things dry. And so I do have to fluctuate my temperature accordingly. But that being said, my temperature with when I made my paints up, okay, versus how cold this tile was. And I mean, it was super cold because it's in a different room that I keep at a different temperature, and things have just started to change. And I'm thinking it's a mixture of the paint and then blowing it vigorously with the blow dryer for the Dutch pour, and then tilting the paint, moving it around, disturbing properties. But it had nothing to do with the binders. I use Liquitex Gloss Pouring Medium, which is, and I'm sure most artists would agree because most of them use it, one of the top pouring mediums for professional mediums on the market. I don't use any more than 20 to 25% water, regardless whether it's just paint and water pour or at all. And I've used my 123 Pro recipe several times, and I have a playlist for that you can check out. So the only thing I can think of is that the paint, and I call it pulling apart, because it really isn't, in my opinion, crazing and cracking, is that it just started pulling apart, and it's amazing. So anyways, guys, I told you to give you an update. Also, please let me know what you think of the new outro, because I love your guys' comments, because you guys inspire me, encourage me. You're so sweet. Sometimes you make me laugh. Sometimes you guys make me cry, all in a good way. I thought it would be a great way to show just some sporadic comments at the end of the video. So I really enjoy doing that. Let me know if you guys like that as well. Maybe you enjoy reading them. And until next time, guys, I'll see you all in the next pour.